everybody. I'm getting ready to do our last project here, so we're going to do the dove here in a second. Let's see if I got this lighting right. There we go. I'll be right there, getting my hot chocolate, waiting for some people to come into the class. I'll be there in a few minutes, in a minute. This is our last video for the Noah's Ark. We're going to be doing this little thing here, and I don't have any thumb guards on. I was out doing some mulch today, and I got in a little bit late. So hello, Linda. Hello, everybody. Just let me get this on my thumbs first, and we'll get started. Hello, Mary. Your package went out today, Mary. I had extras, so they're out. All right, I'm just putting my thumb guards on right now, and I'm going to start this little guy here. All right. Let's see which one I want to use. I think we'll use the big one for now. All right, let me shut this up. Well, the dove is our last. Hello, Jack and Jenny. This is our last project. Is this little dove. Now, this one's a little bit different than what I had before because of hello, Lex and Barb and Frank. We have the kind of together. On my larger ones, there's like a scoop in the middle, and I didn't want to do that. That was too small and too intricate to do it that way. But anyway, what you want to do is I gave you the design. I think was 2.5 inches long by 1.25 inches or something. I can't quite remember what I had on my paperwork, but I have it on Facebook. And hello, Danny. And this is not a real difficult project by any means. It's a kind of an easier project. Now, I know this has a little bit of a mark on it, and that's fine. So you can work around these little things. They're not a soft area, they're just a dark area. And sometimes you can't always see it or realize that they're in the wood. Sometimes they're hidden inside. So the first thing I did was I took my pencil. Where's my pencil? I know it's here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let me go find it. Oh, here it's on the floor. There we go. Once you do the design, what you want to do is just make a little scoop down, not straight across, but down a little bit on either side. And then you want to measure it with your finger, and like this, to see if you got it in the same spot in both places, which I did. So I know it's a little off. I do that so I have a little room to maneuver, or if I have to trim things off. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my knife, and let me get rid of this cord. It's in the way. Okay, there we go. I followed the knife straight in. Now this is going to be the challenge, because what I usually do, and how I tell people to carve this, when I flip this upside down, I put a center line down the center. Okay, hello, Lori. I'll put a center line down the center. And I had visitors today, which I didn't expect. They might pop up on the screen today. We had a nice visit. It's a long time since I had anybody here at the house. So we sat out on the deck and we chatted for a while. And they knew I was going to do a class, and so they would tune in later on. So if you put a line in the center, it helps you to know that when you start on one side or the other, that you have an idea how far you can go in. Now the other thing is, what I do here is usually I measure this from both sides. You see it's a little bit off, so I'm going to do another line, and we'll do it right down the center of that. Alright. And then you know your center is right in the middle of that. Alright, so here we're going to go in. You can see how the wings are sticking out a little bit. we're going to go in just a tiny bit. Let's start with that. This will be our kind of our guide, how far we can go. Usually I don't do this anymore, but I know beginners, people like to know how far over you can go to start. And then of course the face or the front will come in a little bit, right? So we're going to just kind of mark it off. I hear the cat eating over there. I didn't see him all day. He just popped in. All right, so we're going to start here because we want the wings to stick out. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow this line straight in, as straight in as you can go, parallel, okay? And then you're going to cut a little bit out from the bottom part of it. Now if it doesn't come free, you go back and you cut it again. Now it's a little harder for me to see because first of all this is smaller than all my other stuff, and I don't have my glasses on either. So okay, so see how I cut that out? Now we're going to do it to the front. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to cut it straight in. Just follow that out. And we're going to just cut that portion out. Now, the grain is running from front to back, okay? It's not running up and down. It's this way. You can see how the grain is running, the way the knife is, from left to right. So, when I start doing this, I kind of look at this. Now, the old one had a little bit of a notch in here, so this looked like more like a tail, but I'm trying to simplify it because it's smaller and you don't really need to put a lot of detail in this piece to make it look nice on your arc. So let's just keep cutting this out here, and you want to come within probably to there on the tail. So let's just work that back a little bit. Now we'll start on the body a little bit. Okay, that's one side. I'm going to do the other side. It's a good idea to put a glove on if you're a beginner. I always recommend that for beginners. And then I'm going to kind of do the same thing with the head. I'm going to bring it to pretty well up the point. Okay, like so. This isn't a long project today. The dove has a lot of meaning for most people, especially if Christians. The dove is well known on a religious side, but I'm going to start cutting this out. My dear uncle in Holland, he passed away last year. We lost 3 people in our family. We lost our mother, her sister, and my dad's brother, and they were all very special people. And we actually, when you cut up like this, you don't want to cut up into the wing. Try not to. If you can do it with the tip of the knife, it's better. Okay. And my uncle was here from Holland, my dad's brother, my oma Het. He was here, and he wanted to learn to carve. And he saw me doing these Santas from a block, and we sat together night after night while he was here. We did a couple of Santas. Well, I guess when he went home, he got so into the carving that he started to do wooden shoes and nativity sets and totem poles, and he would demonstrate how to make the wooden shoes the old-fashioned way. And he actually had one of these styled doves that we did, or he did on his own, in his funeral on his page, and he also had it on the table at his funeral, and I was very touched by that. I thought that was very nice, and he loved carving. He really did. I think he did a few nativity sets, and here's one of the birds he's made for me many years ago. No, this was the last one he sent to me a couple of years ago when my cousin. And I thought it was very sweet of him. He loved doing little birds and wrens and stuff like that. But they never really painted them. They always kind of left them natural. And same thing with the nativity set. They were always natural. So, you know, the dove has a lot of meaning to me. And, you know, it's a sign of peace and a sign of hope. And I thought it was a very nice tribute to him to have that there. So this is the hardest part. It's getting this so it's flat, that you don't go up like this, but it's more flat. And it's really difficult to do that. So I'm going to try to rest it on the table. Sometimes it's a little easier to get that cut out. And sometimes if you want to cut up by the wing first, you can always trim this back a little bit later. If you have any questions, I'll try to see if you have any questions. Update on the knives. I am completely updated with 121 knives. No, 126. I'm waiting for 2 more people to purchase, the people I contacted. And I just contacted the last person today for the wheels and for the knife, the large one. I have a new order of knives coming in next week, and I might end up putting it on my store finally. But if you still want to order, you can. I'm all caught up, and thank you so much for those people that ordered. I had no idea I was going to get that many orders. So actually I sharpened 241 knives altogether in the last maybe 6 weeks or so. So I haven't done a lot of carving because I was busy making the knives. And a lot of you gave me some good feedback on the knives. You really like them, so that was good. I figured you'd enjoy them. They cut so nice, and they keep the edge pretty well for a while. So, okay, so we've got a little ways to go yet. So let's just keep going here. See, that's the same width. Yep, it is. All right, so I'm switching from side to side. I always do that. And I'm always jumping around on a project. I don't just stick in one area for the most part. I'm going to bring this down. I'm using the larger Rough Rider now. The smaller one is a little more delicate. We'll get to that in a little bit here. But this is the challenging part, doing this underneath, okay? And we're not quite there. I think the line is here and here. So next week will be the last week. I'm going to do one more project of the critters, and then I'm going to take either a couple of weeks or a few weeks off. I need to get things done around here in the farm, and I just got a bunch of mulch in and stuff, so yeah. We're going to have to slow this down a little bit, and then I'll start up again. You know, I'll probably do at least once a month in the summer. I know a lot of you are still in lockdown up in Canada. I heard you're there for another, what, till June the 2nd. So, yeah. I didn't get a chance to paint all my Noah's Ark, but when I do, I'll do a special video on it some night when I'm completely done and show you the final thing completed. I had a couple people wanting to order it. It's like, I don't think so. It's just too much work. Now, notice what I'm doing. I'm cutting in a little further. All right, and then we're just rounding off the head a little bit and just cutting that out. So we're going to start shaping the body a little bit more. Let's cut that out. All right, and we're going to just take that out, and we're going to just notch it a little bit there. And you're going to just kind of bring it down a little bit. Of course, when I get off the line here, I'm going to, now, here's the center, okay? Here's the center. What you want to do is just kind of work your way towards that center, just for the bill portion. There we go. This is a very simple project. It just takes a little bit of time, that's all. And if you have some time, these are nice to do if you're outside at a picnic or something and you want to do a couple of very simple projects. This is one. It's kind of small, so hanging on to it. You can make it. The beauty of this thing, you can take the same pattern and enlarge it on a machine and make any size you want. Some people made them as comfort does too. It's totally up to you and what you want to do here. I keep looking at it to make sure I get this more even here. So yes, all the knives are caught up finally. Believe me, I had no idea. No idea. You know what? I'm going to be very honest with you folks. It freaked me out when I saw the list go up to 70 people. I thought, how am I going to finish all this? And I thought it's going to be the same thing as wood carving. You do a little bit at a time, and it gets done. So, and that's exactly, I do 5 one night, maybe 8 the next night or the next day, and then, some days I couldn't get to it, or I did 2 or 3, and I figured every one I got a little closer to the quota that I had there, so that definitely made a difference. Okay, so we're pretty far along here, so let's just chop this out a little bit more. But it was an interesting, Noah's Ark was an interesting one, and we might add some animals along the way. If you have any questions, you can always email me or text me. If you're thinking of doing nativity sets, I have plenty of them here. Most people are starting to get them now so that they can get them done by Christmas. These projects aren't ones you want to start in November to finish for Christmas, unless you're a really quick carver. So I'm rounding off the head right now. All right, so we're just going to take all this rough stuff off. All right, and we're going to go down here. We're just going to take a little bit of that rough stuff off. And you can make this as round as you want or as thin as you want. That's up to you. And then I'm going to start rounding off the body. And as I start rounding off the body, I might take a little bit more off the sides as we go. If you have any questions now, feel free to ask. But I will be taking a bit of a break. Like I said, I need to get some things done here around the farm. And I only ordered 4 yards of the mulch. It is not near enough. So, stuff isn't cheap. I was going to go pick it up, but I thought, oh heck, no, they can bring it. By the time I spend the gas to go down there, they may as well bring it. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. See, I have a little bit of a roundedness right there, okay? And one person asked if I was going to have any classes in the fall. At this point, no. I'm not going to do that right away. We'll see how this whole COVID thing works out. I think we opened a little early here, but that's the feeling among some of my friends here that maybe we jumped the gun here a little bit early. But I was surprised. I went into Walmart today, and a lot of people were still wearing a mask. So I was kind of glad, and I am fully vaccinated now with the 2 weeks. It's a bit of a nice, what's the word? Some of my friends have used. It's a little bit liberating that you don't have to worry as much who you come in contact with now after getting it. So that's been a blessing. So things are slowly opening up in Pennsylvania. The mandate of the masks, I think, are going to drop within a week or so, probably. But many people say they're still going to wear it. So, all right. So there we go. Now again, I'm going to try to take care of all these little rough spots. All right, the body's pretty well. I'm going to take that rough stuff off as well. All right, so somewhere down the road, I'd like to get that one room behind the garage so I can have a carving club here in the future. The carving club, Lancaster Club, is too far for me to go, and I have some interest of people locally that would be interested in it, and so we'll see what we can come up with. All right, so that's pretty well the body. All right, so let me take a look at. Okay, so that's a little bit, definitely a lot thinner than this one. I can chop it up a little bit more, or carve it up a little bit more. And let's just take this out a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to get all the rough stuff off. Now if you want to, you can put a little, this is, I should have done that on that one. A little V for the tail. Alright, now, to do this portion, the wing portion, what I often do is I'll start in the center and I'll pull that out and I'll just chop on either side for right now. Alright, and I'm going to look at where that center line is. And normally my bigger ones, if you ever had one of my other videos on this, we actually scoop this portion out so it looks more rounded. It looks a little bit more rounded. But I think it will look fine this way. Okay, with the two wings on the top. So what we do here is we just, if you're looking at the front here, you're going to be cutting out from the body, and you're going to be making a little bit of a U here, like just trimming it off from the bottom over, just like so. Now you want to be very careful because you're going in the same direction as the grain is running this way, the way the knife is being held this way. So you want to be very careful when you do that. So see, I did that little cut, so we're going to just bring this up, and let me take a look at this. It's just a tiny bit. Okay, good. Alright, so we're going to do one wing, and we're going to do the other side the same way. We're just cutting this hard edge, this corner off, and just rounding it a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty well where we want it. Now, this one here, if I'm looking at it, this is more rounded. Okay, so it's not just up and it's not rounded this way, but we're going to start rounding it a little bit towards the back. Okay, just a little bit. So this is not just rounded on one side, it's kind of, see the difference between that one and this one? We're just bringing it back a little bit, just like so. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're just going to take this one corner off a little bit and round it. And you can make it different, it's up to you how you want to do it. Then when you look at the top, it's being scooped out. So we're just going to bring this out. We're just going to start scooping out. And I'm going to scoop from the front to the back. Wherever this, see where this line is? This is, let me see if I can show it to you. this line here, this edge here that we cut up to, and this edge, we're just going to bring this down to that level, and we're going to round it. Now you're not going to go further than that edge, okay? You're not going to go further than that edge, but you can start scooping this out a little bit more. And we're going to just turn it around. We're going to just slowly go the other way. It helps to have a good sharp knife for this. It really does. Okay, that's pretty well. Alright, so that's one wing. And I'm going to do the other. I'm going to fuss with it a little bit more. Alright, so we're going to just, let me see if I can just do it this way. It's a little easier. It's safer to go towards the center than the other way, because you have a tendency, if it's a little tugging, you may snap this off. So it's better to go towards the body. Alright. And we're going to make that a little bit deeper right there. Okay, good. And same thing here, you're going to go towards the body. Alright, and you're just going to round this off a little bit. I think you got the idea. And I will try to get this painted this week. So you can fuss with that as much as you want. You can scoop more out if you'd like, but you don't want to go past those two edges that you created over here. You know, you're working towards those edges. All right. So, and you try to make them match as much as possible. But that's our little dove. That's all that it really entails. There's not a whole, there's no feathering, unless you want to put feathering. Now, I did a dove before. I did this thing when I didn't like it. I decided to make this one. I thought it looked better. Hang on just a second. My hot chocolate. I'm going to bring that corner in just a little bit. See, there's a little square corner there. We're just going to kind of get rid of that a little bit. There you go. Yep. You just want to make sure you take all those rough edges off, all right? But I'm going to fuss with this a little bit more offline. And I think this is going to conclude our project today. And if you want, you can put a little, like, maybe I'll show it to you when I get it done. If you want to make it look like it's carrying a little olive branch of some sort, you can take one of the chips like this, and you can whittle it down. It takes a little practice to do it, but then you can put something in his mouth so it looks like he's carrying an olive branch back to the ark. I was looking up some statistics of the ark. It's pretty interesting. But you can do that, and I'll show you how to maybe do that at a later time. I didn't think of doing that with the other one, and but that's an integral part of Noah's Ark. So, and you want to make sure you take all the lines off from the, if you drew the lines on to cut it with a bandsaw. I cut mine with a bandsaw. Alright folks, so that's, now we got two. I'm going to thin them out a little bit more, because I had more time, you know, with the other one, but that's what they look like. And you can have them together if you want, or you can have one holding an olive branch or whatever you want. It's a very stylized type of bird, and you can make a lot of these if you wanted to. So one person actually did this as a comfort bird, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, but they had it smooth in the center, and they had it that you could hold it a certain way, you know, when you held it. So I hope you enjoyed this little project. That concludes our Noah's Ark, and I just want to share something really quickly with you. I was talking to a carver, said she really had a hard time with doing eyes, and I kind of tell her that the best way, if you have a problem doing an ear or a nose or an eye, all you want to do is take a long block, usually an inch by inch block, and just practice from the corner and do one nose or one eye, like put your nose in and put the eye in, because we're going to do a lot of Santas and things like that coming up in the fall. So I really suggest that if you have a scrap of basswood just to practice, that's how I learned how to do it. If I was a little leery on doing something, I tried it on something else first, especially anything to do with the face, a mouth, or ears or beards or whatever it is. That is a good way to do it. And I hope that this has been helpful. And if you need a knife, you can just call me or text me and still order one. Otherwise, they're going to go on my online store on Square. All right, folks, thanks again for joining me for this long 9-week course, and we'll add some more animals later. All right, guys, thanks a lot for joining, and God bless. Bye-bye.